Hi guys, welcome back to Classy's Kitchen. So we are cooking again. On this video we're going to be making yams or sweet potatoes. They're called both. These are my ingredients. Again, still in quarantine, so I will not be in the camera. No, I will not. But these are my ingredients that I'm using. So I have my sweet potatoes, nutmeg, cinnamon, vanilla. I can't believe it's not butter. Sometimes I use stick of butter, but for the most part I usually use I can't believe it's not butter, and I usually use the light one, but I got the original today. That's fine. Whatever type of butter or margarine or whatever you use, still works the same. I have brown sugar, white sugar, and marshmallows. So first things first, I am going to take the potatoes. The sweet potatoes, I'm going to rinse them off. I chop them just in half, just because I find that makes it cook through quicker and through. I will show myself adding my ingredients and how I do everything. Still not big on the measurement. I kind of just know. And I've made this dish so many times, like I know what's enough. So I am going to now rinse the potatoes. Again, I chop them in half and put them on the stove to boil. I don't like my potatoes to be too soft, because then it mashes up, and I don't want it to be like mashed potatoes. Some of it will be a little soft, but I don't want it too soft. I still want it like a nice chunk. So I will be back in a jiffy. Now I washed the potatoes off, and like I said, I cut them in half so that they can cook through and cook a little quicker. This is a very small pot of yams. As you guys seen, it was just a small bag. I'm just making a nice little serving for home. If I was making like a big serving for a party or catering, I typically would get bigger potatoes. It just makes more sense. But again, this is just a small batch for home, so I just have smaller potatoes. So I'm just gonna let these boil. I'm not gonna let them get so soft to where they're falling apart, because I don't like them mashed up. But like, some of the pieces will be mashed. I don't like them mashed up, but they will have like certain parts that are a little soft. And if you're doing bigger potatoes, then you would need to cook it longer. So I'm gonna let these boil, and then we will get into our next part, which is going to be how I make my sauce for my yams, which is pretty exciting and cool. So hang tight. Alright, so I am back. So I put the I can't believe it's not butter in, and I turned my fire on low and let that melt. So that's all that you guys missed so far. I just didn't think melting butter was very exciting. So I didn't record that part. But I just put it in there. I want to say, if you're using sticks of butter, use 2 sticks. But again, it also depends on how much yams you're making as to how much of this ingredient you use or take away. Also, you got to take into account of how your taste buds are. Some people like it a little sweeter. Some people like it not so sweet. But I did use this. I can't believe it's not butter. This is a 7.5 ounce, and I put the whole thing inside. So I'm guessing, so sorry if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing this is about 2 sticks of butter if you're using the sticks. If I use the sticks, because I normally use the sticks sometimes too, I would use 2 sticks of butter. So now that that's melted, it's on low. I'm going to add brown sugar. This is 2 cups of brown sugar that I have separated out, that I put inside. And I'm just going to stir this. A little bit and get it all in there. Now, obviously, the first thing you need to do when making this recipe is melt the butter. But the other ingredients, like if you put the brown sugar in first or the white sugar in first, I don't think that really matters. I don't have a system as far as that goes. I kind of just add what I want, when I want, how I want. So there's that. I poured out a cup of white sugar. I don't think I'm going to use the entire cup. That is just going to be entirely too sweet. So I'm first going to just add in, I'm going to say half a cup of white sugar. And I'm going to mix that in. Also, guys, while I'm doing this, my fire is still on low. And I'm making a syrup. This is how I make my yams. If I'm in a rush, or if I'm being lazy, I do sometimes just boil my yams, which they're over there boiling. I do sometimes just boil my yams and use these same ingredients, but just put the yams in the casserole dish or the tin pan, whichever I use. I do sometimes just put the yams in the pot and then sprinkle these things on top of it. So I'll sprinkle like the sugar and things like that. But that's only if I'm being lazy or if I'm in a rush and I don't have time to do a syrup. So I already put 2 cups of brown sugar, half a cup of white sugar. Now I'm going to add some vanilla. Again, I don't measure when I cook, especially if it's something that I've been doing forever. I just kind of know and I can eye it out. If I had to guess, I would say I am about to pour, let's just say, let's measure this in tablespoons. And let's just say I'm about to pour 2 or 3 tablespoons of vanilla into the pot. Now, if it was more than that or less than that, you've seen what I just poured, well, then put whatever you think it is. But if I'm guessing, guys, so I'm guessing 2 or 3 tablespoons was just entered. And I'm going to mix that up as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my nutmeg and my cinnamon. I'm just putting it right in the pot. And I'm kind of guesstimating because I can eye it out at this point. And I don't have a whole pot full. Like, it's not a big pot like I'm doing soup. And that is because the potatoes is sweet. They're sweet potatoes. And you see how much sugar that I already used. So, and on top of that, I top it off with marshmallows. So, I'm doing a lot of sugar. So, I don't need a lot. So, now I'm going to add some cinnamon. Again, sorry I didn't put it in like a measuring cup or anything like that. Kind of just eyeing it out. I would say, if I had to guess that, 2 to 3 tablespoons of cinnamon that I just entered that I just put in there. And as you are stirring it, you want to be sure to stir it because it's going to continue to get thick because we're making a syrup. As you stir it, you're going to see the consistency change. You're going to see the color change is a lot darker now. Obviously, I'm putting darker darker substances into the liquid, like the vanilla and the brown sugar, the cinnamon, nutmeg. So it's going to be a dark brown. It almost looks like a pot full of chocolate. And it smells so good. I'm going to give that a nice little stir. Get that all mixed in there. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add the nutmeg. But guys, when you add in your nutmeg, be mindful because nutmeg already is very powerful. So you don't really need a lot. So I won't be putting as much as I put in the other things. Even though it may look like it's a lot, it's not a lot. The nutmeg, if I had to guess, I want to say I just put in there not a tablespoon, a teaspoon. And nutmeg is powerful, so you don't want to overdo the nutmeg because then it's going to taste funny. Like, if you guys have tasted nutmeg, which you probably have, you know what I mean. Nutmeg has a very distinct taste, so you don't want to overdo the nutmeg. And now we have all of our ingredients in there, guys. So at this point, we just continue to stir for a bit and continue to let it boil simmer on low. It's going to continue to get thick. Now you don't want it thick where it's like a paste. See, it's still like still a liquid form, you know, not pasty. But sugar, as you cook it, it does become thick and solid. So that's why you want to make sure you stirring it and it's not getting solid at the bottom of your pot either. So you stir it, and this sauce is basically done. I recommend that you taste it before you put it on your yams. Just, you know, get like a little teaspoon or tablespoon. That's what I was trying to say. I don't know what a tablespoon is, but make sure you get a little spoon and just taste it to see if it's sweet enough or if it's too sweet. If you feel like you need more sugar, more cinnamon, more nutmeg, whatever, you can add it at this time, whatever it is to your tastings and your likings, and just continue to mix it up. You don't have to cook this for a very long time. You just want it to be all blended in very well and let it come to a boil. And then once you come to a boil, you're good. You can turn it off and wait for the next step. But I don't like it too sweet, but I also want it sweet, like it's sugar in here. So at this time, you know, get you a little spoon or what have you. Lick the spatula if you want. No, don't lick the spatula. I'm not gonna lick my spatula, I promise. But yeah, taste it and see if it's sweet enough. If it's not, you can add more. Like I said, I do still have the white sugar here. I do still have more brown sugar. So whatever I feel like I may want or need to, whoa, fingers in front of the camera. Whatever I may need or want to add, I can add at this time. As you can see, it is starting to boil slightly. But I am going to definitely taste it before I pour it on my yams, because I don't want it to have to sprinkle extra stuff on top and do extra work. The point of the syrup is so that it's one and done, and we will be back shortly. Still waiting on the yams. They're cooking. They shouldn't take that much longer. Once they are done, we'll go on to the next step, which will be peeling and chopping them. But you guys probably won't see me do that part because, again, your girl ain't got her tripod yet, and I can't hold the camera and peel and chop it. But when they are peeled and chopped, cooled, peeled and chopped, and in the casserole, I will come back and show you guys my next step. And see, this is what's happening with my syrup right now. Stir it up a little bit. Stir it, stir it, stir it. And I'm going to taste it, see if it's to my likings, which it should be. I'm a vet at doing this at this point. But I'm going to taste it and see if I need to add anything. At this point, guys, you can add whatever you need. If you feel like you need to add more of your butter, margarine, whatever you use, you can add that. You can add more vanilla. You can add more cinnamon, nutmeg, what have you. Alright, so when I come back, I will already have my yams diced and in a pan, and we'll be on to the next step. Alright guys, so I actually wanted to come back. I had to trace back my steps. Before I chopped them up, I just wanted you guys to see like how they should look, or how I like them to be, to know that they're done. See, it just falls off the fork. You just stick the fork through, and I recommend you checking several of them, especially if you have larger potatoes than what I'm using right now, or a lot of them. Definitely check them, and I did check them while they were cooking as well. They are not like super soft where they're going to be mushy, but they are a good consistency where like I can chew them. So I just wanted to show you guys that. Definitely check them with your fork before you begin to peel them, because you don't want them mushy, but you don't want them to be raw on the inside either. Alright guys, so I have my yams cut up. As you can see, there's some soft pieces in there. Here's my fork. Like some pieces that are a little softer than the others that are a little mashed, and then there are like solid pieces in there as well. So that's how I like my yams, and that's how I dice them up. So at this point now, we have our syrup that is still on the stove. Stir it up before you pour it on, guys, because it does get a little thicker, and sometimes the sugar at the bottom will start to like become solid. So just mix that up. Give it a good little stir. You don't have to reheat it or anything because it's going to go in the oven. So it's going to already, you know, heat itself up. And all I do is pour this syrup right over top of the yams. Now there has been times where I have made too much syrup, and I like to just store it in my fridge and use it for later. You don't want the yams like swimming in the syrup. It shouldn't be doing that. So like that's enough. And see, I still have syrup left. So I mean, you use your discretion at this point. You can use it all or not. I am not going to use all of my syrup. I'm actually going to save it. I can save it in my fridge. You can freeze it if you would like. Whatever you want, and then use it again. I definitely would use it within like a week, 2 weeks tops. I wouldn't let it wait too long to be used. Then if you want, don't stir it because the yams are soft, so then you're going to make mashed potatoes, so don't stir it. But you could zhuzh it around a little bit. Zhuzh. Oh God, I'm so old. I'm an old lady if you guys haven't been able to tell, or if you don't know already. I kind of just move it around a little bit just so that I can get the syrup all around. It's thick, it's syrup, so it's gonna fall to the bottom. So don't worry about like the yams at the bottom. If it's gonna make it all the way through, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. If every single yam is not covered in it, that's fine. Don't stir it. Don't move it around too much and run the risk of it getting mashed. Like, see how like that's soft? You don't want to run the risk of making it mashed potatoes, unless that's what you like. Some people do like a sweet potato prune, and if you do, then in that case that's fine. But I personally don't prefer that, so I won't mix it up too much. So there's that. I have my extra sauce. I will refrigerate it later, and then I top it with marshmallows. So like I said earlier in the video, didn't want to make it super sweet because marshmallows are sweet and there's more sugar added to it. Oh, I did not mean to pour all those marshmallows, guys, but I'm working with one hand. So I'm just gonna spread it out a little bit. And I want y'all to take note of my glass casserole dish, okay? Because like I said in my previous video, if you have not already watched my video of me making the ackee and saltfish, after this video, after you like, subscribe, and comment on this video, do be sure to go check out my other video of me making saltfish, ackee and saltfish. But anyway, like I said in that video, I typically use disposable stuff like plates, and even with my pans to bake something, I would use a tin pan because I don't got time to be scrubbing stuff. Like, see, I got a little bit of syrup on there. So now I'm going to bake it and it's going to get hard. And that's just extra work. I'm actually going to wipe that off before I put it in the oven because anybody got time for that. But I'm showing out today, guys. I'm using another dish. I did record this video the same evening that I made my ackee and saltfish video. 2 videos in one day. Motivation. Who that? But anyway, so this is now going to go in the oven. It's going to bake, I want to say, about 15-20 minutes, depending on how hot your oven is and just where you have it set it. You're not cooking it. It's already cooked. Everything's already done. At this point, we are just going to get it in there long enough for these marshmallows to melt and get like a nice little brown toasty layer on top. Don't cover it or anything. Just stick it in oven just like this. All right, next time you guys see this, it will be all baked and ready to go. All right, guys, so here is the finished product. That's how I make my yams. So for everyone who know me, who has had the privilege, because yes, it is a privilege, of tasting my yams, secrets out, this is how I do it. So if you guys have any other way that you make your yams, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to need you guys to go ahead and like this video if you have not already. Subscribe, comment, and share. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. 4 quick, easy things. Definitely comment, because like I want to talk to you guys. If you make your yams this way, let me know. If you don't, if you add something else, or if you take something that I put in it out, if you use a different topping or no topping at all, let me know. Comment down below on this video how you make your yams. If you have not already, please go watch my previous video on ackee and sawfish. It was delightful. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks, guys. Until next time.